Right, the ICC Champions Trophy that is supposed to be held in Pakistan next year remains in a deadlock. No official announcements have been made regarding the dates or the schedule of the event. And even as the uncertainty around this continues regarding the timeline, how and the where, former Pakistan cricketers have not stopped rambling and venting on how Pakistan needs to boycott the whole thing. So things really sitting on a knife's edge here for Pakistan cricket. In the middle of all of this, of course, there's a league that needs tending to, the PSL or the Pakistan Super League. Now, post the IPL, the Indian Premier League, countries all over started leagues of their own. Of course, the idea was to replicate the kind of success that IPL has already generated in terms of the quality of the cricket, the finances that are coming through, the revenue, the audience interest in stadium attendance, all of it. Now, while the Indian Premier League has galloped and raced ahead in the decade that it's run, the other leagues are still playing catch-up. And PSL, as among the rest, has been one of the worst performers. And I'll show you the various parameters that will only reiterate what I'm saying. Pakistan realizes this, which is why now they're trying to get the unsold players at the IPL auction just last month to come over and be a part of the PSL players draft. More on that in just a bit. So how far behind is PSL lagging when we pit it against the other cricketing T20 leagues around the world? Let's first look at how long these leagues have been around. The IPL clearly is the oldest, which ended up inspiring, of course, the rest. The Big Bash League in Australia began a few years later in 2011. The Bangladesh Premier League launched next a year later. So did the Sri Lanka Premier League, but I'll come to that in just a bit. The Caribbean Premier League started in 2013, the Pakistan Super League in 2016. Now, the Sri Lanka Premier League, now rebranded as Lanka Premier League, has had a stop-start sporadic stint, but 2020 is when they really changed and rebranded themselves. So while I understand it's only been 8 years since PSL has come to be, the kind of growth it has seen so far has not been very encouraging though, especially when cricket is a prime commodity of any subcontinent country. So what about the profits? What do these leagues make? What's the revenue that they generate? Now, IPL is a money spinner, and we know that. It is one of the richest leagues in the world, and of course the richest cricketing league in the world. Their turnover and their revenue since inception has been around $6 billion. That takes into account broadcast deals, sponsorship, and of course it has a wide global fan base. BBL comes in next. They of course generate around $200 million a year, which is substantial enough, but still miles away from IPL. Of course, Caribbean Premier League, that comes in next, significantly lower than these two, just about $30 million a year annually. And then we have PSL, Pakistan Super League, just over 30 million, around 30 to 40 million dollars, somewhere in between annually. BPL comes in next, $20 million per year. And then, of course, the Lanka League, that rounds up all of it. Pakistan Super League, despite all its cricketing history, the prowess and the kind of legacy that they have had, clearly battling with its far less experienced neighbors when it comes to the revenue that they need to generate. That's where PSL is languishing. And that comes as little surprise because the success of a league rides on a lot of things. How safe is their country? How developed is their country? The cricketing infrastructure, the venues, the facilities, the success of their national team. Yes, that's important too. How much support can they get from the other associates, because you need players coming in and being part of this league. All of this comes together in pulling off a very successful league. The stadiums themselves are just getting renovated. That's keeping Champions Trophy in mind. In fact, one of the venues crumbled under showers earlier this year when New Zealand came visiting. International standard is required to make any league as popular and a success internationally. So let's highlight that parity as well. This is, of course, the latest, the current season. Rishabh Pant is the highest paid athlete at the Indian Premier League. He's earning $3 million. Then comes in BBL, and that's still a while away, with Darcy Short being the highest paid cricketer. And then, he's still miles away, comes Babar Azam for the PSL, the highest paid cricketer there. He earns 3% of the highest paid salary of an IPL cricketer, which is Rishabh Pant. That's the vast differences between the leagues and IPL compared to PSL. But now Pakistan is adamant to try and shake things up for PSL, wake it up from its slumber. you know what they really mean, and you know that they mean business, because not only are they targeting to rope in the players who went unsold at the IPL auctions in Riyadh this year, they are also aping IPL by trying to take their own player draft, which is set to take place on the 11th of January next year, outside the country, outside Pakistan, like IPL did when they went to Riyadh, or they have before that when they went to Dubai. The window of the PSL also is being shifted to get alongside that of the IPL in 2025. They're trying their best to make their league seem as lucrative as possible. It is about the optics after all, and the cricket will take care of itself. What about the frills? That's what Pakistan is thinking. The country is trying to resurrect its cricketing stature with these moves, standing up to the BCCI and the ICC when it comes to the ICC Champions Trophy hosting rights, and then copying IPL in an attempt to refurbish and resuscitate a languishing PSL. The fact that India players are not available and Pakistan players can't play in IPL was always a huge roadblock for them. But Pakistan is trying to work around these impediments. All of it try and amp up a system that has been dealt a severe blow thanks to their own shortcomings.